What's going on, Dolphins fans? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and I'm going to break down the Dolphins' absolute decimation of the New York Jets, winning 30-0. Starting with the offensive side of the ball, and a lot of credit needs to be given. Obviously, Tyreek Hill did not play, and everyone was like, "Oh." Well, prior to the game, everyone's like, "Tua can't do anything without Tyreek." He shut those people up, going 21 of 24 with 224 passing yards and a touchdown. Absolutely lights out, balled out. And also where some credit needs to be given within that stat line is Mike McDaniel had a perfect game plan. People have to remember, the Jets they're I think like eighth in scoring defense, but it doesn't do justice considering how bad their offense is, and the Dolphins made them look amateur. We were able to have a pretty solid run game. It was actually, based on the numbers, it was pretty mediocre. I missed hitting a parlay by the 8 Raheem Mostert rushing yards. I was crushed. But I appreciate their dedication to the ground game. They ran the ball over 24 times. But, man, the quick passing game is really what fueled this offense, whether it was to Waddle. I keep wanting to say Tyreek, whether it was to Waddle or other players, just getting the ball out of Tua's hands very fast, which we all know how good he is at that. And people want to make it sound like, oh, he's just dumping it off, checking it down. Like, there's a skill set within being able to be a quick passer. I mean, Tua has one of the fastest releases in all football, and he leads receivers so they can run after the catch. So, tremendous job by Mike McDaniel with the game plan, as well as Tua with executing it. I would say Mostert and Achane both had solid days. Waddle balled the hell out. And this is something I really get frustrated with this offense is when Tyreek's in, Tyreek gets all the attention. When Tyreek's out and it's Waddle gets all the attention. But, like, you need to be able to mesh that. The way I perceive the offense, and I could be wrong, I haven't necessarily watched enough film to prove this, but like the plays are designed to get one route open, and when Tyreek's in the game, Tyreek's at that spot, and then when Tyreek's not in the game, Waddle's in that spot. So it's really just like kind of I don't want to say it's a one route play, but like I guess the main target on the play is always Tyreek. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but that's just how I perceive it. Because, like, I feel like whenever Tyreek's out of the game and Waddle gets put into that same position, he starts balling, and it's just kind of, it makes sense. You put your best player in your best routes, kind of deal. So I don't know why I'm surprised, but I would just like to see more, integration with both of them. I feel like we saw it more last year than we have this year, but Waddle had himself a tremendous game, and man, the O-line. I think Tua probably got sacked maybe twice. There was a couple holding calls, a false start. There was some bad stuff. But considering that, Austin Jackson went down with injury, so we were back to 4 backups on the offensive line, and Teron Armstead. So, considering the Jets' defensive line is as good as it is, I can't speak today. I don't know what's going on. As good as it is, and the Dolphins' offensive line is completely decimated with injuries, hopefully getting some people back soon, I think they did a stand-up job. Keeping Tua clean for the most part and having a decent day on the ground. It wasn't tremendous, but it was enough to get the job done. Now on to the main reason we absolutely dominated this game with the defensive side of the ball. A lot of props to Vic Fangio and crew, pitching a shutout, 0 points to the Jets, who just balled out offensively against the Texans, and Vic Fangio and Bradley Chubb were like, fuck that, and locked shit down. And that's definitely the player of the game right now is Bradley Chubb. I think he had 3 sacks, a forced fumble recovery. He was playing out of his mind. Zach Sealer balled out. Christian Wilkins is consistently being a game wrecker. Just overall dominant performance. Despite not having Xavier, Holland, or Elliott, Brandon Jones had himself 2 picks. And the biggest thing is I don't even necessarily look at the picks. Like last week, we saw miscommunications and breakdowns in coverage. We didn't see that. So tremendous credit to those who filled in at safety with Elijah Campbell and Brandon Jones. And then the 2 picks to go with it are even better. Eli Apple had himself a good game. Now, to be fair, it's the Jets' offense. They're not very good, but they still performed very well. I didn't hear Kid or Kohu's name called once, which is a testament, especially for a corner. That's a good thing. Jalen Ramsey balled out. When you let up 0 points and you sack them like 10 times, everybody on defense balled out. Great game plan. And that just really is a big testament to this team. Coming off of the awful loss last week, being struggled with injuries with Tyreek and all of those guys, and being able to use this week, I don't want to say as not forcing these guys back too soon, and now when you have them, they're going to be more like themselves and less likely to re-injure heading into playoffs. I think that's so key. I know there's a lot of criticism because Mike McDaniel seems to be very cautious with injuries, but this team isn't trying to win one game in December. They're trying to win games in January and February. So there's obviously a cost and effect, but like I said, I came into this game very nervous the Dolphins could very well lose, especially after Tyreek Hill, Xavier Howard, and Javon Holland were ruled out. I was like, listen, man, like, I understand the state of our offensive line, and the Jets have a very good defense. Like, that's undeniable. So I thought this might be a nitty-gritty game down to the wire. Like, I wouldn't have been that surprised if we lost just because of the circumstances, but I got shut up real fast, and they absolutely decimated, and that just goes to show how good this team is because despite the adversity of choking last week and the injuries, they still found a way to just destroy. And they have a huge matchup going into next week, playing Dallas, I believe, at home. So very interested to see how we match up against one of the best teams in all of football. Comment your thoughts down below. I appreciate you guys for watching. Love my Miami Dolphins. Check out the Dolphins Dive for the best Dolphins merch out there. Until next time, I'll catch y'all.